Hello, welcome to Irons United for a pre-match preview of Leicester City against West Ham in a couple of days' time. Actually, I'm joined here by Anton. Hello there, sir. How are you?
Hi Alf, how you doing, mate? You okay? Good to see you again.
No, nice to see you too. A half decent result of the weekend, I would say. Hopefully, we can do the same or a little bit better against Leicester.
Absolutely. To be honest, a lot of comments I've seen kicking about, and it's probably quite true. Maybe under I'm not trying to throw Pellegrini under a bus, but maybe under Pellegrini we would potentially have lost that game. And I suppose at the end of the day, that's why Moyes is here, is to bring in a bit of consistency and make sure that we grind out results. Because unfortunately, we are in the situation we're in, and the situation is we are in a relegation battle. It's horrible to hear. It's the truth. Yeah. We're there, and we just need to move on, try and get out of this situation as quickly as we possibly can. Yeah. And just got to look up the way somehow, and got to remain positive.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I'm going to be doing my Grumble show tomorrow night, and we'll be discussing quite a few things. But essentially, we're in a fight now. We're definitely in a fight. This is a rescue mission from Moyes. I think we've just got to get behind him. Too early to judge him, I think. Mm-hmm. I think we have improved slightly since he's been with us. So, let's hope we can take that into the game on Wednesday night. Kickoff 7:30 p.m., I believe. And so let's get into the stats, shall we?
Let's get into Leicester City. That's the big one.
Let's get into them. Right. Anton, first of all, let's have a bit of maybe, I don't know, too early for team news, as we've already talked about off air.
Well,
what info do we know?
It looks like, Leicester are pretty much fully there, except for two of their players. Indeed, he looks like he's going to miss the game, and Morgan could be in, on, and around the starting lineup. But apart from that, they have a full strength-ish side to choose from. But as we know, they're not on form, Alf. They've hit a bit of a mid-season wobble, I suppose you could say. But they've still got that massive security gap of, I think it's like 10 to 11 points of Champions League places. Yeah. And I have no doubts that they will pick up form again. I just pray it's not against us. It's typical West Ham in it when a team's not in form and then suddenly upset West Ham. There we go. But I was sceptical on Brendan Rodgers when he first signed for Leicester City, if I'm being brutally honest. And I know some fans were touting around the idea that he should have been linked with West Ham and we should have gone all out to try and get someone like him. But
I hope we would, and I wish we did, really. But
and the funny thing is, I wished and glad we didn't at the time. But I'm willing to hold my hand up and keep my words. But I think it's a mixture of, obviously I live up in Scotland. I don't massively follow a lot of Scottish football.
Sure.
Maybe I judged his book by his cover, because maybe I thought, he'd done well at Swansea, he'd done all right at Liverpool, all right. He ended up coming up to Celtic and he won a lot with Celtic. But a lot of people out there can judge, including me, the Scottish League. So
sure.
And I did, and I just thought, he's been away from the Premier League for such a long time. What's he going to do and what's he going to bring to the Premier League? But he has proven a lot of people wrong. He's kind of kept this Leicester City fire going, and they fight for every single ball. Yeah. They have a quality scouting system that can find good players. James Maddison is one to talk about all day long. Of course, West Ham nearly got the guy, but he was deemed not good enough for West Ham. That's another story. And so, I think Brendan Rodgers has definitely done wonders. Leicester City on this absolute fairy tale, and it's just pure and utter jealousy I have for them.
I would say, there are 2 points there. I would say, first of all, Leicester are everything that we're not, and we would hope to be.
Yeah.
You just look at their website. I've just been scanning their website tonight. It's just fluid. It's easy to get information. Ours is always clunky. Yeah. Their behind the scenes stuff, their training facilities, their scouting system, as you talked about, that's everything that we should have, in place. They seem to have it all sorted. And the other thing I wanted to talk about or quickly mention, is Brendan Rodgers himself. I was never really a fan of Brendan Rodgers, I've got to say. And I was very much like you. I was just like, oh, he's gone to Scotland. He's gone to Celtic. I mean, look, they win everything anyway. Do you know what I mean? Rangers are not there, or they weren't there at all. You've got no competition. They're bound to win everything. So there's no surprise. But I tell you what, I listened to an interview with him once. I think it was with Jim White a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And he really impressed me with some of the stuff he was talking about, the coaching and everything. And it's funny, the things that he was talking about, you can see in the way he's set up and the things he's started to do at Leicester. So
I think
very impressive. I think
you've got to look at, we've got all this. We're never going to stop banging on about West Ham's owners, and I think I'm pretty confident that the majority of the West Ham fan base are all against the West Ham board. I'm massively confident in that, and everyone's just split on how we deal with our emotions when it comes to that. When it comes to, so you've got people who want to march, you've got people who, you've got a minority, in my opinion, that want to march, and you've got a majority that hate the board but don't have a clue what to do. Know they're probably not going to go, and they're just going to have to bide their time until they do go. But then you look at Leicester City's situation, and you look at when they were taking over. And then obviously they had the sad news last year, which West Ham were involved with after the game. But you've just got to look at what they did at the forefront of every decision they made. They put the fan and the club first, in my opinion. You hear all these stories about they're putting on the away buses and they don't charge the fans. The owner buys, or the previous owner bought the fans drinks at halftime, pies at halftime. They give them quite a bit of merchandise before the game, even at home games at the King Power Stadium. And it's just making the fans love. You love your club anyway, but all those little things just make it better. And if the result doesn't come in, you walk away and you're just like, but those owners care. And at some point, if they care, they're going to get you the right management. They're going to get you the right scouting system. They're going to do what you're asking for. And every manager that they've had, really, even I think when you look back at Leicester, you've got to give plaudits to Nigel Pearson, because before they won the Premier League, he went on the crazy run in the Championship with them, and I think they were 14 games unbeaten or something like that, and he really brought out Vardy into the player he is, and all those sort of players. And it's just the owners. It's just like I've got this big piece of jealousy on me. It's like someone's chatting up my wife. And I get really jealous. I'm just like, why can't we have that? And I'm gutted, because I'm not trying to add fuel to the fire, but it is this 10-year anniversary the weekend there, and it's just heartbreaking sometimes to think we're in the same situation. And I spoke to someone today, and I was just saying, I know we're going to be talking about Leicester, but I'm just saying, I finally come to terms. People may laugh at what I'm about to say, but I'm finally come to terms with the fact that we are back to a 12th position at best Premier League side.
Oh yeah, look, I'm no doubt.
I wasn't there, Alf. Still wasn't there. I still had this stupid, I was sold again by a £45 million signing of Sebastian Haller. I was sold again from signing the players left, right, and centre, and then we just don't ever go and finish the job we need to do. And it does fall on the heads of the owners. But again, like I said, plaudits to Leicester City.
Absolutely.
I mean, Alf, let's be honest. Half the team at Leicester City, I had never really particularly heard of. I mean, is it Albrighton is still there? Is he? He's still performing pretty much week in, week out. Morgan's still kicking about, like I said. Obviously, you've got 30? How old's Jimmy Vardy? 30.
Oh crikey!
34.
I want to say 33, but I'm not. I could be completely wrong there.
17 goals this season. The guy is just completely on fire. And that's the thing, I suppose, Leicester's future is. They have to start trying to look at replacing players like that.
Sure.
They've got, I'm just trying to look at their kind of, Evans, he's another player that West Ham was linked to.
Sure.
But I do believe if West Ham had got a player like Evans, he wouldn't have even remotely performed to the level that he's performing under Leicester.
No, I think that's the problem. It's the curse of West Ham, isn't it? It's a curse that we can bring some kind of talent and it doesn't seem to quite work out. I mean, part running of the club, part management that we've had over the last few years, part the group of players in general that we've had, and we never seem to get out of it. And you're right, there is so much negativity around at the moment. This 10-year thing, the owners always seem to let themselves down, or it's a big spiral. It just continues and continues, and we're never going to get out of this until they've left the club. It's as simple as that. Until they've sold, it's never. And let's be under no illusion, that's never going to happen for a while until they decide it's time.
Yeah, but you got to look at, again, coming back to Leicester, you look at their scouting system. They bring in a player who's bang average, maybe a little bit better than bang average at Newcastle. Perez, sign him for 30+ million and make him. He fits into a team. It's like they know their squad and they know the jigsaw and they know exactly the pieces they need to add into that jigsaw. And they don't just go out and willy-nilly go, there's 50 million, there's that player, we need to sign that player. If that player is £2 million, but he fits that jigsaw, we'll sign that player and he'll add to that squad. And that's proof in the pudding when you look at what's the centre half called? I'm terrible with this pronunciation. So Junko, Sonico or something like that. The boy with the hair. They brought him in a few seasons ago. We started off not great, but they stuck with him. They gave him faith. They gave him a run of games, and he's looked like a bit like a world beater this year. It's not been great the last couple of seasons, but he's in beside Johnny Evans, who's got experience in the Premier League, and it's just about piecing that jigsaw together, and that's exactly what Leicester City are doing. I'm not sitting here licking the bum holes, but it's tough not to. It's tough not to.
Exactly. But the thing is, you've got lots of elements there. You've got a club that's well run. You've got a really good relationship between owners, management, squad, and the fan base. You've got good coaching there. You've got a good structure, good scouting, let's say, good training facilities. All these elements make the place a happy place. Then all you've got to do is build on performances. And we say, well, actually, last season, they weren't really there at all. But now all of a sudden Brendan Rodgers come in and it's just like, well, okay, right. Now it's that they're doing really good. They're doing really great. They've got that good feeling about them. Mm-hmm. And they're forgiven by, I'm sure, by their own fans, by certain poor performances or disappointing performances, because they got to look at the whole view. I mean, I've got some stats here, of course. They've basically got twice the number of points that we've got. They've played. We both played. Well, we played 22. They played 23. We still got to play Liverpool, of course. They've won 14 to our 6. They've drawn 3 to our 5. They've lost 6, which I was quite surprised that they've lost 6 actually, to 11. But they scored 48 to our 26. They've let in 23 to our 34. They've got a goal difference of 25 to our -8. I mean, the stats don't lie. That's the thing.
Absolutely. And I think. I mean, when you look at stats like that, the proof is in the pudding. And there is some things to take from it. I think I've got something here. I was going to read out. So, they on average score 2 goals per game, but they do look like they concede a goal pretty much every game as well. But of course, we are West Ham, so we concede. Sure. Our biggest issue, on top of, in actual fact, we've got loads of issues. We score 1 goal a game. We concede over 1.5 goals a game, and that outweighs the 1 goal we can potentially score. But you said there, out of all those games, they've only got 8 clean sheets. Yeah, we've got 6 clean sheets. So there's something to be had. There's something to be there.
I think they've had a really good run, really good season. Well, fantastic season, of course they have. But I think they, just like any team, there's a vulnerability there. I think they've been wounded the last few games. I think Burnley have beaten them, Southampton have beaten them, and from teams that you would think actually Leicester would easily beat those. Surely they beat them, but no, they've kind of been crushed under their might, really. So. Yeah. I think there's hope for us there. I think a really good performance. I think if it was Pellegrini and in charge, I think we would lose.
But
I can't say that for definite, of course not. But it's my impression is that we definitely lose under Moyes. However, because he's twisted a few things, changing the little things, these formations and personnel and stuff like that, I'm not so sure. I think we might get a result there. I'm not saying we'll win. I think we might get a result.
We're in this transition period, which is something we just didn't want to be in. So we went on for so long saying that Pellegrini didn't know his starting 11. And unfortunately, we're going to be in a situation for Moyes, who's not going to know his starting 11 because it's so new and there's so many players due to come back in formations. It's just hopefully that we have the right fitness and everyone's back to fitness, and then he can start to work out what his best 11 will be. But then I look at other stats and I'm thinking, you look at the tackles between, Pereira and Ndidi, between them have nearly over 200 tackles in the Premier League this season, and West Ham's closest players, Declan Rice, was 70. And so there's a massive difference. It's just showing you the work rate that these players have. They're obviously bringing in players and they're saying to them, you may have all this ability left, right, centre, but you need to work hard for this side. And
but Ant, sorry to interrupt, but can't you say that of every really good side in the world? Okay. Yeah. Every good side in the world, don't just rest on reputation, don't just rest on talent. Most of those teams, they always have a really strong work ethic.
Yeah. And I think that's probably, if you look at the Manchester United right now, the struggling Manchester United is because it's the built. I do believe, fair play to Man United for sticking in at Solskjaer and backing him in the market and letting him try the youth player. And do all this and do all that, and the work rate, and eventually they'll start to get rid of the Jesse Lingards and the Pogba, start to bring all their other players through. It's just the policy that West Ham have got right now. It is crap. We all know we are all for the board leaving. It's just
absolutely.
It's not. Make sure you get the comments in and let us know what your thoughts are and what we're saying here. Do you have a respect for Leicester? Are you jealous of what Leicester have got? Are you like us here?
We sound like a couple of Leicester fanboys, but we're not. We're just kind of
respect what they've done.
We're as you say, we're envious. We're jealous of because we have such a poor show at West Ham, and behind the scenes especially. You think, well, wouldn't it be good to have a great? And I suppose that's what the whole fan base is wondering, thinking. Wouldn't it just be great to have a club that is run properly and is run by owners in a proper way? You know.
It's about time, Alf. We've been crying out for it. I mean, in my lifetime, we've been crying out for it. And to be honest, again, you'll probably agree with me. I speak to my dad, and he says, everything wasn't always rosy, even when we were winning. When we were winning things left, right, and centre. But it was different back then, and it's my lifetime's been a mixture of Terry Brown, not the greatest, and then Peter Storey, and he didn't own the club, but I thought he ran the club ish. Yeah. Ish, he had the family-ish side of it at heart, and then obviously we had the Icelandic guys that were there. But you always sit and wonder to yourself, I mean, I don't know the full ins and outs and the full financials, but Kia Jabrochin, the guy that was in charge of Tevez and Mascherano, who was like to buy in the club and couldn't in the end, but imagine he had. I wonder if things would have been different.
Yeah, well, I think Karabjan would have tried and bought us for £1, and he would have sold us for about 100 million or something.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have trusted him at all. Yeah. The thing is about the Icelandics, unfortunately, they just ran into they fell foul of the global financial crisis. That's what wiped them out.
Excuse me, I'm actually putting my plug in for my laptop. I didn't realise it was about to run out of battery. I can still talk.
But they're, that's the problem there. They fell foul of that. But, they were... spending money on players and giving players crazy contracts back then, and it's just ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
Golden Sullivan, came in, and I'll never forget this. They came in and they said, all these average players getting paid all these crazy contracts and everything. We're going to change all that, and they didn't. They didn't change anything actually, because let's face it, they couldn't, because they're under contract basically. But all these years later, they're still giving average players great contracts,
of course,
and it's behind the scenes. So as I say, when people say they're lies and all this kind of stuff, it's just been false promises, lies, but there's also been total disregard for actually running a club properly. And that's my biggest issue with everything ever since their tenure. It just has not been run right, and they try and fool everybody. They try and fool the media and get the media on their side and all that kind of stuff, and you try and get these radio interviewers to try and give them a grilling, but they don't. They end up being their best pals, and that's the problem. If you want to find the truth, you've got to ask the right questions.
I think
that's it.
And for any of you watching right now thinking, oh, here we go, we're planning on about the board. Unfortunately, we're in that situation, every single week when we talk about a game, we're going to have to mention the board to some extent because everything is affected by that. I mean, we're the 19th or over halfway through January, in the January transfer window. It's a massively important window for West Ham. We all know we're struggling for depth in the squad. You've got to look at the squad, the substitutions yesterday, and look at the amount of defenders that were on there. And the options that we have off the bench is not great. And we all know we're thin. And it comes down at the end of the day, it's like, we're going to do a gift of the gab. We're overrun with a gift of the gab soon. We need to definitely do one. Hopefully we'll try and get one for you. Stell's off on his little holidays just now, so we'll try and get one between the three of us soon. But you just got to look at the way that the board come out and do the things that they do and say the things that they say. And we saved you from this. I've heard that so many bloody times, but get the deals done, get the players in.
Well, here's a question. You say that. How many players are we going to get in for the January?
I mean, it depends on what you believe and who you listen to and all that sort of stuff. But
it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. We had a preview out the other day. I think Stell spoke to Sean.
Yeah.
Sean pretty much confirmed if we're going to be doing anything, it's going to be looking like loans. Now, if we bring in quality loans like Ross Barkley's of this world, then I ain't going to moan because I get why we do it. We're in such a pivotal stage of the season for every club, but we've also got things like the Euros coming up. So players that have got talent and ability and aren't playing at their club, there's maybe players to be had. And I'm very aware of that. It's like running a business. You do everything. You've got to do it right. I get that. I'm not stupid. I don't want us throwing £40 million at a player just because we can make the fans happy. It's not about that. But you've got to look at what Ross Barkley can offer. And if he can be made to feel like, oh, this is your club and you're amazing, you come in and add quality. So if there's a player out there, that's fine. But I am worried that, we're 10 days-ish, 9 days, whatever, a week and a half away from this. Transfer window shutting, and we're still in the same situation we're in with no kind of sign of any players coming in. But of course, we're still going to give you our transfer videos with all the players that are linked to us, and it's within people's interests to put links out there because that's what keeps them going and ticking over and stuff like that. So we just got to appreciate that that's what the world is.
Well, on that note about finding players, I actually called or I sent a message to David Moyes the other day, 2 days ago, actually. Yeah, I actually said I offered him my services. I thought I've got a new pair of boots in the garage. I said I'll come on for you, no problem.
Yeah, mate, I think.
Funny enough, he didn't reply.
Well, we're after this kind of tenacious midfielder, and I know you've done the lookalikes for Thomas Gravison before, so maybe you could get you in there, and that could be the sort of box-to-box midfielder we're looking for.
Wow, I think I'm more. I'm not sure if this is before your time, Anton. More of a Jan Molby kind of.
Yeah, player. I know, yeah.
I'll just sit in the centre circle and just kind of
smash people. Around.
I just like, hey.
Didn't he not smash quite a few people as well?
He did, but he was a cracking player. He's probably one of my favourite players who wasn't a West Ham player. He's probably one of my favourite players.
I'm sure you mentioned that actually when we did the Kenny Brown interview. I'm sure you were talking about Bobby. And so for any of you that didn't know, we've actually interviewed some ex-players, ex-pros before. So if you have a look at Irons United, type in Kenny Brown, you'll have a look at the interview myself and Alf did with Kenny Brown.
Me.
There was a little
Kenny,
plug.
like that. Just reminiscing about the old days. Oh, yeah.
I suppose we've talked enough about Leicester City. We've probably given them, they probably think they're going to win the Premier League, the Champions League, the everything that's out there after listening to this show, but this is a West Ham show, Alf.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I will leave it on this, okay? Throughout our history, right, we have played Leicester City 133 times. Did you know that? No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
No. And in that time, guess how many we've drawn? I will tell you. Don't answer because I will tell you. It's 33 times, right?
Okay.
We have lost 48 times.
Yeah.
But guess what? We have won 52 times.
There we go.
There we go. So if there's anything to be said, we've got the better of them throughout our history. And our last time out, they beat us 2-1, which was on the 28th of December. Actually, that's another thing I wanted to quickly mention. And how come we're playing them so quickly again?
I think
Weird, isn't it?
I think if you look back at the fixtures over the last couple of years, I'm trying to remember, was it Bournemouth and then it was Brighton, something like that over the last couple of years. We've always met a team
very close.
Christmas and then one side of Christmas. And I think it happens in the Premier League. It's something to do with their fixture backlog or something like that. It must just look all right. But I mean, I wasn't meaning let's close the show down. I wanted to talk about West Ham in general, like the side and what we predict. That's in case you thought that's what I was meaning.
I thought you were.
No.
I thought you were. I've had enough of Alf Rabbiton on.
I was having enough of Rabbiton on about Leicester City.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, look, I'm drinking my claret, so I'm good.
I wish I was joining you, mate. I wish I was joining you.
Look, can I just say, you'll see this tomorrow night. Let's say, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, I like that. It's quality, yeah.
That's my coffee mug, Matt. That's my placemat. There we go.
It's not your coffee mug, mate.
Hey?
It's not your coffee, Matt.
No. It's my
wine, man.
It is. But I tell you, that was given to me yesterday. So,
all right. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Who was that? Is that someone you can't tell us?
So, well, I could, but I'll tell you off air.
All right. Okay. Cool.
It was actually my lad. He went into the shop. He blindsided me. Went into the shop, and he came out with that as a little present.
Good. Yeah.
Saying
nice.
thank you, Dad, for bringing me to see
give me this
West Ham. Yeah.
So, Dad, there's your reward. Go and drink and depress yourself more. No, I'm not advocating drinking, by the way. If you're watching this, I'm not advocating drinking alcohol.
No,
but I'm
not. He said, if they were better, Dad, if we were winning, I would have bought you a shirt or whatever.
Oh wow.
But you're only going to get that. I thought, fair enough.
Hey, must be on big bucks for pocket money, Alf.
Oh, yeah. So I treat him like a slave.
That's well, we did see Randolph making his debut yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a kind of, I mean, it's a no-brainer. He's going to be there. Fabianski isn't back yet, and it's a Moyes signing. So fair play to him. I mean, I think a lot of people slated him too much, to be honest, from his last term. I wasn't one of those guys. I was split down the middle when it was Adrian versus Randolph.
Yeah.
So I'm not disheartened by having someone who knows the club back. And who wants to play for the club. Yeah, okay, you can say to me, oh, it's all about money, blah, 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 but still at the end of the day, he's here. He could have stayed at...
Yeah, but he's better on paper than he's better on paper than Martin anday. Yeah, exactly. So look, I don't know. I haven't heard the latest on Fabianski. What's his? I
think it's just they're saying it's a couple of weeks, so I don't think
couple of weeks. Okay.
Now that Randall's here with Martin as backup, I don't think they're going to. I don't even think Fabianski was rushed. To be honest, there was some comments kicking about somewhere saying, "Can't believe Fabianski was taking goal kicks after coming back from an injury."
Yeah.
But what people fail to realise is, if he's a goalkeeper and in training, what do you think he's doing at training? Do you think he's not taking goal kicks? If you think that Fabianski was not taking goal kicks in training, do you think he'd be playing in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Don't be stupid to say that a player who's back in fitness. I'm not questioning the fact that I'm not denying the fact that we've brought players back from fitness a lot earlier, but the player doesn't matter if it's a winter's night. If he's declared fit, he's been doing it in training for a week or so. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it looks like the thing I'm trying to point out now is I don't think we're in any rush to worry about. We want him back, of course. We need him back. I get that, but I'm confident enough in what we've got back there now.
I think it looks, on the face of it, like yesterday at the game, it just looks better.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit more assured.
Well,
a little bit more.
The ball, doesn't he? He goes out to collect the ball. There's no kind of. He shouts, whether people think he does or he doesn't. He shouts a lot more than what Roberto does, and you have more confidence. You can see the players wanting to pass the ball back.
Yeah,
and there's something people slag off this whole kind of. Oh, it's a championship. We got rid of him for some reason, but sometimes players can go away and come back and be better players.
Yeah, absolutely.
He would be named championship team of the season, and he's played consistently at a high level of the championship. You've got to look at players and teams like Sheffield United. No one's sitting there slagging them off, but most of their players are the championship level team that got promoted last year. So
yeah, absolutely.
People have just got to calm down. And
I do think that's where we're lacking. Like a lot of the other teams that do well, let's say, or come up and do well, where they've got a lot of homegrown talent, but not necessarily homegrown, but either championship level or Premier League level. But they're good, hard-working, honest players, and I think sometimes, we have lacked that in the last few years. Definitely that balance I keep on talking about of our players. We've got a couple.
What was your thoughts on Balbuena getting dropped and bringing Diop in?
I'm actually a Balbuena fan. I like him, and I like the partnership between him and Ogbonna. It's hard to say because Diop scored and he did quite well. I thought for their goal he was kind of stranded to the spot a little bit. I don't think he reacted very well to Calvert-Lewin. What's his name? Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Yeah. But I think I don't know. I think it's one of those things. It's always either going to be Balbuena or Diop. I think let's see how it goes. But for me, I feel more assured. I feel more comfortable with Balbuena there. I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah. Zabaleta,
I thought he had a decent game. I thought he was working well, linking up well with Snodgrass, who I thought was our best player. And I thought he's, I will say, I've already said it, actually. I've already said it virtually since the start of the season. He's my favourite player and he's my hammer of the year.
Snoddy.
Yeah.
My biggest concern for this game coming up is the pace that Leicester have got. And, I mean, they've got pace in abundance and their veteran striker, Vardy's got pace in abundance. And the problem is you've got a player who can find a pass, no problem at all. And James Maddison, they pinpoint the Zabaleta side and the not so confident West Ham defence. Those balls going to get pinged over. And this is my biggest concern when it comes to West Ham right now with not having a backup player in that position. And there's a part of me, I think I said it in the preview, and people can sit there and slag me off all they want, but there's a part of me that thinks like, I wonder what it'd be like if you had Diop, Balbuena, Ogbonna, and Creswell.
Yeah.
Backline.
But I mean, interesting. I don't think there's a mobility on the right-hand side for that, unless you completely change up the formation. I mean, I don't know what the update is on Fredericks. I don't know what the update is on Johnson. I heard
Fredericks young lad for another 6 weeks, or something like that. Fredericks is not going to be back for a good while. So
and Johnson, I heard, is out or injured or something. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So look, way back to fitness. So
yeah, we haven't got a lot of options there at all. Yeah. So I think if they can protect Zabaleta, I think if they can, I
don't think we can afford to do that as such. That's my biggest concern. I don't mind him playing the wing back role as such, because then I feel like he is protected there. But I don't think that's the position we're going to do. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a flat four at the back, and I think that's going to be the problem.
Yeah, when I say protected, I think what I'm trying to think which game it was, so you'll have to forgive me, but I think it was either in the Sheffield game or the Bournemouth game. I think Zabaleta was there. I can't remember, but which game it was specifically. But I certainly identified that he was always being covered. So he was going forward. He was making either the first challenge, or he was, going to address the ball, address the oncoming player, and then it was either Rice or somebody like that. That was always coming in behind him, just in case it got through. Then they could tidy up, and I think that's how they're going to have to use him, because you're absolutely right. They're going to skin us down that right-hand side otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. If Anderson comes back in, for me, it's a no-brainer that he steps straight back into that side. Because he's the only one that really looks up and offers a bit of creativity of some sort. And
so what's he had? Has he had a back? Is it back or rib injury?
I think he picked up a hip injury the last 10 minutes of the Sheffield United game.
Okay.
And it was touch and go whether he'd not make the Everton game. So we think he'll probably come back in. I mean, he's not lost a huge amount of fitness, so he was probably training but not ready for that game. Yeah. So I think he'll be back for this game, and I think he's going to be needed.
Yeah, and Antonio, who I think we're just missing But I
Yeah,
never would have said that I'd be missing Antonio so much, but I do.
What's funny, though, Alf, I think as a West Ham fan, if you look back at his career, the first 2.5 or 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Was, like, by far one of our best players.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He went through that one season that maybe went over 2 half seasons or something.
Yeah.
And when he was given the ball with Crystal Palace and all that sort of stuff, like it wasn't the best, but he's found form, and I can't believe we're relying on him so heavily. But I tell you something, no, Alf, you put him and you put Sebastian Haller up top, and it causes bother. It causes problems.
Absolutely.
Our biggest problem is we can't get them up top because either one gets injured or the manager changes formation, and it's all gone to pot. And I think if you give those 2 guys a run of games with Anderson sitting in behind him, then that's what's key. But one player I do want to talk to you about is Lanzini.
Oh, please don't upset me. Don't upset me.
Are you upset? Because my upset in terms of I can't believe a player of his talent who has shown massive glimpses of hope and quite strong consistency in his career at West Ham has literally just kind of disappeared slightly.
He went away on that international duty for Argentina. He had a cracking goal. I think it was against Italy or something. It was an amazing goal. And being an Italian fan, that really pissed me off. But there we go. But he's a fantastic talent, fantastic player, recognised by his country, which is not an easy thing to do, by the way. And then all of a sudden he gets injured a couple of weeks later, and that's it. Now he had a few injuries before. Do you remember that great game away against Huddersfield a couple of seasons, 2-3 seasons ago, with him and Arnautovic, I think it was? Fantastic. Then before then he got sent off. Then he got injured, so it was a bit in and out. But then he came back. He was having a bit of form. Got to Argentina, fantastic. Scored a great goal. Then he got really injured, and it's from that point onwards, it just hasn't been there. A long time coming back. Eventually come back. Took a while for him to get back up to fitness. Then he was kind of in and out. Had another little injury, sort of came back, and then it's just not working. I was watching him yesterday, and he's just sort of jogging around most of the time, and it looks as if he's glazed. There's no real purpose to him.
Yeah,
that's why I'm upset. Not upset, angry. I'm just thinking, well, what's happened to him? What's happened to?
I mean, he's definitely not done enough to stay in the side. I think he's had a run of games now to show that he's definitely worthy of getting dropped.
Yeah.
And I'm all for consistency and getting players a chance, but maybe he just needs to come out for a while to realise that he's not untouchable.
Yeah.
And I think that might help him. But I mean, I hear people saying like sell him. But right now, I wouldn't because I think it's too risky to bring in a new couple of players in that position or the kind of or what we're expecting from Lanzini.
Yeah, look, I don't think things have gone well for him at the club anyway. They had the whole contract talks for a while. That was ongoing for a long time. I think behind the scenes it hasn't been that great. But he's back. Possibly Moyes, give Moyes benefit of the doubt. Maybe he will find a way for Lanzini to find his best position or find his best position with the other group of players that we've got. Perhaps, something will happen. So perhaps, he will find a bit of form. In the last game, against Sheffield, there were a good couple of efforts. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't inspired. I think this game, in all fairness, I don't think many of the players had a fantastic game, but he, for one, him and Haller, for me, just did not perform anywhere near where we would hope they would perform.
Yeah.
And I think for Lanzini's case, it's just been going on for quite a while now. So I think maybe a little breather. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe a little breather.
Yeah.
Or just keep him on the bench and say, right, okay, well, we'll bring you on as sub.
Yeah, show us what you're capable of when we need you the most. Like, right now he's not performing, so he needs to come out the side. I don't believe in selling him yet.
No.
He needs from now to the summer. Maybe he's looking for a move. He's got the contract he wants. So, I think he got the contract he wanted, that he kind of deserved, in my opinion. I definitely hear comments about people saying he's most of the time he's been crap. I absolutely don't believe that at all. Although I do think he is missing that quality player. Like, we keep going on about the snake, but he's not a snake to me, Payet. That was beside him, a quality player to look up and go,
look,
I just want to run a games out with Anderson through the middle. I just want to run a games.
Me too.
That's it.
And I think if it can find a right place for Lanzini, whether it's in a supporting role, whether it's on a sub, whether it's playing on the left or whatever, and let's use Anderson a little bit more centrally, and if we can get Antonio and Haller up top together, I think we've got the players. People say that we haven't got the players. It's just whether they're fit and whether they're on form.
Yeah,
but we've got the players. We just don't have the depth of squad. But a first team 11, our first 11, I should say, or 11 or 12, 13 players, I think are good enough to compete with most teams in the league. It's just whether Moyes can get them together and get them playing.
Yeah, get into click. Yeah, and we do need more out of Sebastian Haller. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know how many times I think we've just ruined strikers. We sign. I feel like we could sign any striker in this world, but you leave any striker in this world up top alone. What's going to happen? I mean, he's just so isolated all the time. And I know people were saying he had a couple of decent chances at the weekend, and he never put them away. And he's still got 6 goals this season, but he's capable of more. He's definitely capable of more. And if maybe more balls were going in, I don't know. We just need something to change, but.
Look, I mean, I'm going to come across as being a real huge fan of David Moyes, a real fanboy of David Moyes, which I'm not. But what I'm saying, the last time David Moyes was with us, he was in a rescue mission there as well.
Yeah. And
lots of people were slating, and I was one of them, probably, more than most, probably not very proud of it, criticising him, his tactics, his substitutions, all this kind of stuff. But he never really got the opportunity thereafter to start afresh with a brand new season. So we never really know if it would have changed, if it would have got better, if, the tactics would have changed. Would we have gone better in the Cups? Would we have gone better against the likes of Man City or the Liverpools of this world and given them a good go and changed the tactics, for those games? So I think I don't know. Whilst I'm not his greatest fan, and whilst I was saying yesterday to a couple of guys at the supporters club, I don't think he's my first choice. I don't think he's many people's first choice, but I think he could be just the manager we need right now.
Yeah.
How long for? That's another debate. But right now, I think he could be just the right person for us.
Alf. What I said right at the start of this video is I've come back to terms with the fact that where we're going to be, and if I come back to terms about where we're going to be, then he is the manager that we need right now. And maybe he's the manager that can offer stabilize the club to a certain extent and bring us back to average, because right now we're underperforming. So maybe we just need to get to 50%, and then when we're at 50%, we've got to then march on from there, because we have taken. One point you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward, but then you're definitely taking 3 or 4 steps back.
Yeah.
And it's time we put that to thing. But get your comments in below. Let us know what your thoughts are. I don't know if myself and Alf have chit-chatted all night. We probably could keep going on all night, Alf. But let us know your thoughts on what we've said. I mean, about the Leicester side, the West Ham side, the owners, the boss, the players, Lanzini. What do you think we should do with Lanzini? Would you sell him? Would you start him? Would you drop him? Fornals came back into the side. Sebastian Haller up top himself. Ajeti, I think he came on as a sub and threw his body around.
You mean Jetty? Jetty.
I think he was trying to prove a point, wasn't he? It was like, Moyes, don't leave me on the bench anymore. So I'm just going to half or cause a bit of stir up a bit of problems.
Oh dear!
There's talk that the FA might get involved with that still, actually, and potentially.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's kind of clear cut for me, unfortunately.
But let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know how you think we should line up against Leicester. I think it's going to be really tough to predict the side again. To be honest, I think we're in that kind of whirlwind of change right and centre until we see a bit of consistency in West Ham, so we don't really know what is going to happen. But
Sure.
it does come to it. Before we do it, get your predictions in the comments. Let us know what you think the score will be. But let's do our predictions, Alf.
Right. Okay.
Last time we did this. Last time myself and you did this.
Yeah. I can't remember. I got it completely wrong. I always get it completely wrong.
You got it completely wrong the last time we did this, and you said you would eat your hat.
I did, and I did eat it.
And you did, but you ate really crazy, spicy sauce like a maniac. It's another video you should watch. Lee done it for the channel.
I did. I'm not doing that again. I'm not putting any bet on this.
Well, listen,
I'm the worst gambler ever. That's why I never gamble. That's why.
Wait till you hear my prediction. So,
okay, right. I'm going to go for. Bearing in mind, I never predict a loss. Okay, never, and I never predict a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for us.
Oh.
I think it's going to be so close. I think it's going to be so close again, this one.
Any particular player?
I think it's going to be Noble, a penalty.
Penalty. Okay. Right. Are you ready for this one?
Oh, go on.
Now, listen. People listen to my predictions, and people always say, "Oh, he's gone off away with the fairies." But sometimes,
you know what? People listen to your predictions. They go down to the bookies and lay on a score.
And now, I think if you put a score on my predictions, you would be up. No. You would be up because the predictions give you high odds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. For example, let's go back to St. James's Park, Newcastle away from home, 3-0. I mean, what odds would you have got on that? Stick a score on that.
That's right. I remember. What did I predict?
I don't know, but you were just like, if they went 3-0, I'll eat my hat. That's never going to happen. And I was at the game, really drunk, not that I'm controlling drinking, and I was like, yeah, going mental. And then about an hour later, I was like, oh God, Alf said this. And
yeah, I know. It's like messaging me.
Yep. So my prediction is going to be 2-0 West Ham. I think.
There you go. That's it. You know, I was almost there with you. Almost there. 2-0.
Half pint full. I always say it every week. I'm a half pint full guy. 2-0 West Ham. I think we.
Do you know what? I've got a feeling you could be right there. I've really got a feeling that I don't think we're going to dominate the game by a long shot. I think we're going to be backs against the wall for long periods of the game. I think he's going to employ a bit of counter-attacking tactics, and I think I think we might just get it.
I think that Moyes, this is where a game like this one is where Moyes really, really will kick in his experience. He will know that Leicester on their day are hard to beat.
Yeah,
they turned up at Olympic Stadium with the reserve side.
Oh God, and
beat us. But our heads were down, our heads were gone.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a resurgence, nothing major, but there's a bit of something there. And he'll start looking at the last couple of games. Leicester are on a bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
Now I'm not trying to, they're either at the beginning or the end of their wobble, and their wobble's only really short. And I'm hoping that we can continue that wobble. If we can continue that wobble and we have specific players coming back into the side, i.e. Anderson and supporting Haller up top, and we can play on some of the weaknesses, and I guarantee you, Alf, Moyes will be looking at those tapes from Burnley v Leicester, Leicester, Southampton v Leicester, Southampton v Leicester. He'll be looking at those tapes, and if you see the goals, they were penetrating that defence. A couple of their defenders were struggling, and that's what we need to do: counter-attack, put them on the pressure. Felipe Anderson, get that ball and attack, and just keep going. And if we get that momentum, then we've got an opportunity, and that's how we've got this. That's how I'm going to see it. So 2-0. Alf's gone for 1-0. Get your predictions in.
It's interesting you said that about Moyes, actually, because I agree. I believe he does do his homework, and I believe he does look at recent form and the opposition. It's interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I think after his first game in charge, I was watching a game here, and with my lad, and all of a sudden in the crowd panned, and the camera panned to, guess who was in the crowd watching? David Moyes.
Yeah.
And he was watching a game. I can't remember who it was, so you have to forgive me. But he was watching it, and I think it was we were going to be playing them next week, the following week or whatever.
It's old school. It's old school, though. To me, it's like you don't see a lot of I mean, foreign managers really traveling the country to see the opposition play. They rely so much on tapes and you know what? That's fine. You can do that, but I can see Moyes doing a bit of the old school. We need a bit of that. So let's see what happens. I mean, we've got to be positive. We've got to go out. We've got the FA Cup at the weekend as well. So
look, let's positive vibes. I think that's what I think. We're almost there. We're almost in touching distance of starting to get good performances and good results, I think. So, well, let's hope so anyway.
Absolutely. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the thumbs up. I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this, there's a little button at the bottom of the video and it's got a thumb up and a thumb down. And do you know what? If you put thumb down, who cares? But put the thumbs up. Like, we're not that massively bothered, really, but it'd be cool if you put the thumbs up. So we are bothered.
I'm trying to get my thumbs together. If I do that, there we go. Look at that. I'm surprised. People are looking at me, go, "Why can't you get your thumbs together?" Because I'm looking at the screen trying to do it.
Because Alf is 2 bottles of wine down.
And look, I can still hold a conversation. Oh, right. Listen, I've been out. You've been out on.
Yeah.
No, that's your line.
Yeah, that's your line. No, you can do it tonight. You do it tonight. Go.
No. You do. You do it so better than me.
No, I'm going to get you to do it. But before you do go, there's also, if you're watching this video and you haven't clicked that subscribe button, just go all the way up to the top, wherever it is you're watching, up there, maybe down there somewhere.
I think it's down there.
And hit that subscribe button. It's really important because then you'll get notifications of when we do our videos, and our videos are quality because we're Ange United and we're good guys.
You know what? At the bottom here, at the bottom it says like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
You've just spent the last 2 minutes rabbiting on when it just people are saying, we know, it's all down there.
Yeah.
Look, hey, it's been great talking to you, and look, great result. Hopefully, this Wednesday. You say 2-0, I say 1-0. Everybody's going to think we're mad. Hopefully, we won't get stuffed. That's as simple as that, really.
So I'll do it then. He's been Alf. I've been Anton. This is Ange United. Come on, you irons.
Up the hammers. Ta-da.